Well, I think there are measures that could address this over-tourism problem without a doubt. I think that, as you said before, with Bali and Spain, there in some ways it's apple and oranges. So it really depends on the circumstances of each destination. So I think what we're seeing across in other places is uh, authorities are trying to grapple with this problem, and if, for instance, Venice is charging tourist tax, and so I think what we're seeing in Barcelona is they really breached a threshold, I think, and we're seeing that with the residents sort of in their protests. But I think there are solutions, because as you said, tourism is only going to continue to grow. So the government authorities are really taking this very seriously. From UNESCO's point of view, I mean, we see tourism as a vital industry for cultural conservation. And in fact, World Heritage Sites are meant for everybody and to enjoyed by everybody. So tourism is vital. So it's a question of rebalancing. I really think that's what we're talking
So, Peter, what can cities do? From your perspective, are cities sort of dragging their feet on this issue? Because in a lot of the measures that I've seen, it does require you turning down money, and a lot of cities don't want to do that. What can cities do?
Well, I think in terms of there's one sort of argument that quality over quantity, right? So you don't go for the numbers, go for higher spend tourists. So that's one solution. But I also think that if you look at Amsterdam, I think it's also they're looking at how they can influence tourist behavior, because this is also part of the problem. It's not only just the numbers, but how we as tourists behave in these destinations, and they're trying to address those issues, because that's also, I think, adding to the problems with the residents, is that it's not just the numbers, but it's how people are behaving.
And if we see residents unhappy with the pace of change in their cities, do you expect that we'll see more residents taking to the streets? Places like Dubrovnik, Venice, which I know was on, or it was, UNESCO talked about putting it on the endanger list simply because of the over-tourism issue. Will residents start to take these matters into their own hands if the cities fail to act at the level that they want?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a very, in some of these places it's turning into a very volatile situation. Venice is an interesting example, because you may remember a few years back with cruise ships, and the people took to the streets on that issue, and they changed it. So cruise ships are no longer going, through the Grand Canal in Venice. So you can, sort of this type of civil society coming and trying to make change is very important, because at the end of the day, these are elected officials, so they have to respond to that, to what the residents of their cities want. But as you said with Barcelona, the overwhelming majority want tourism, and they see that it's vital. So again, it's just a matter of how we can rebalance it. Perhaps one thing I think that's very interesting is what we call mirror destinations. So there's a beautiful city south of Barcelona called Tarragona. It has a lot of the wonderful cultural attractions that, similar to Barcelona, has a beautiful seaside. So, and it probably could benefit from more tourism. So I think it's how we make our travel decisions to also help the problem. So I think we need to be more conscious in our travel decisions.